Looking for my lighter so I can light my sage. I love that you and I are both drinking our shroom coffee this morning.
I love mushrooms. Got to get them in somehow.
Exactly. How'd you sleep last night?
Like a rock.
I passed out early. I was exhausted.
Well, me too. Well, we're doing a lot in the astral right now, or as we know, I always am, but
no kidding.
Had a lot of things going on. Inner and Middle Earth are changing, which is very, very exciting. Got some good stuff to share about what's going on from my perspective, and there's some stuff I can finally share that I've channeled as a child that I've just been patiently waiting for, that's finally here.
Oh, very nice.
Finally ready.
All right. Oh, everybody's joining. Hello, everyone. Are you able to see the comments?
Oh, yes. I was in private chat and I was like, no one's messaging. Yes, there's plenty. Hello, everyone.
Hello, everybody. Nice to see you all. Welcome, welcome. Kat is here.
How's everyone doing today?
Look at that. We got the whole Avengers crew in the comments and on chat today. Love it. Good morning, Carolyn. Good morning, Adriana. Hi, Bradley.
Yes, good morning, all.
Hi, Ariana. Hi, Chantal. Nice to see you all. How's it going?
Oh, thank you, Charisse. Yes, I got my hair redone recently. I called it the fall rainbow, so it's a little hard to see with the lighting, but
it looks very pretty.
It's all the rainbow colors, but more fallish because we're getting into spooky season.
We are indeed. Yes. Kat and I are drinking our shroom coffee this morning.
Cheers.
Cheers. I add a little bit of Adriana's cacao powder to it. It's really nice. Adriana sends me home with so much chocolate. I don't know what to do with it all. Whenever I leave Grenada, I come back with stacks of chocolate. It's like raw cacao powder, that sort of thing. So it goes in everything. You can even make chocolate bars with it. So I'm using it up, Adriana.
Well, I bet that's good. I always put is it Ceylon or Ceylon? I have to believe it's Ceylon cinnamon in my mushroom coffee every morning.
Very nice.
It helps regulate, just for body wise, so people know, it helps regulate your blood sugar and blood pressure. So it's really good for your cholesterol as well. So it has good benefits. So
yeah. So I was hanging out with Bradley, just chatting a few minutes ago, and all of a sudden I got ding, like, boo, in my ear, and I was like, holy shit, like, like, I know who that is immediately. Lord Shiva is in the house. And I asked, what's Lord Shiva doing here? And he goes, he's here to watch Steve today on the podcast.
For those of you who don't know, through my SRT journey, sweet Adriana and Zach were able to help me find another guide in conjunction with Merlin, just to help him, because Merlin knows how to do SRT, but he really loves to work kind of with the magic of earth and help restore some of those things. So that is one of the reasons why he's my guide. He just needed a little bit of extra help because he was getting tired, trying to wrangle in more than one person at a time. And so Adriana and Zach helped me find Steve. And so Steve is my Andromedan guide. He's a spiritual badass, but he is very much a warrior. And he is a take no shit type of guide. And he is very protective of me and of everyone. But yeah, no, he is very highly connected, we're finding, within all the intergalactic communities, but especially within the Andromedan community. So
yes. His name isn't actually Steve. We did have a bit of a giggle. We were like, why the name Steve? And then one day we were kind of hanging out and we were talking about Steve Irwin, and then we realized, we're like, oh, he was being cheeky.
He chose Steve because he loves Steve and he knows how much I love Steve. So
yes. I love that.
Yes, because most guides, when you meet them, you can start to talk to them, and as long as you're not having fear and you're expressing your gratitude and your love, you can have your guides that they'll come in and they'll talk to you. And so that's kind of how I had Steve come in, and I was like, hey, who are you? What's going on? And so I originally was calling him Scotty. And because that was just the first name that came to mind. And after a few days, he was like, Kat, I like the name Scotty, but he was like, I really love the name Steve. Can you call me Steve? And I was like, sure, I don't mind. Like, I'm not sold on Scotty. That was just the first thing that came to mind. I'd love to call you Steve. And then our whole vibration just changed. And so it was like, I opened my heart to accepting what he wanted to be called. And because of that, our relationship just bloomed really, really fastly. And so it's really cool to have all these extra guides coming in to help us, because we have a lot going on right now.
We certainly do.
Yeah.
I mean, in many different aspects. In our personal lives, Kat's got some stuff going on. You want to share the good news?
Oh, yes. So right after I left our Branson retreat, my man proposed, and I am now engaged.
Congratulations. We got to hang out with Jordan in Missouri. He's so lovely. You guys are a wonderful couple. He's just really sweet guy.
Thank you. Yeah. So I will say my partner is not as spiritually advanced as I am in certain aspects, and I'm 100% okay with that. We have different soul lives and different soul paths, but that doesn't mean that you have to have a partner who is in it for everything. So I openly, wholeheartedly love Jordan, but I do know that there are some things that I'm supposed to do here without him, and vice versa for him. And so I will just say, if you are in a committed, loving relationship with someone who's on a different soul path, it's a little bit of a different vibe, and you have to work at it differently. But I'm here to say that it can be a very loving, fun, and rewarding journey if that's what you're choosing for your life. So we always have a choice. So if you're not happy in your relationship and you are choosing that you need to get out, then get out. But if you're where I'm at, love every process, because we fought really hard to be here, and we're the boots on the ground. And I just have to say, I'm just so grateful that I'm here with everyone and being able to share this journey, because it really is amazing what you can do with your life when you start to change it from here, and how fast it changes out here. Because if you would have told me 6 months ago that I would have been hanging out with Laura and Bradley and been a part of the Avengers team and been doing this stuff, I would have been like, you're fucking funny. That's no, that's not happening. I mean, because it happened literally in a blink of an eye for me. So yeah. I will say, keep chasing your dreams.
It's beautiful too to have a partner that even though he doesn't understand what you do, he still, is there to support you no matter what. So that's the underlying thing here that is the most beautiful aspect, I think, of a function of a relationship that balances each other out, even if you don't have the same interests.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. I fully agree.
I really am excited though about all the changes that have been happening over the last 6 months, even though we're kind of getting whiplash from some of this. It's happening so quickly. It's like it's almost like being pulled in with a tractor beam, getting you exactly into the place where you're meant to be.
Yes. Okay. So I wrote some notes because there is some stuff that I can share. Give me just a second.
Sure. I'll sip my fancy mushroom coffee. I'm sure he says I also have a supporting muggle.
They're the best, man. And the cool thing is they're not all squids. Sometimes they can create their own magic over time.
Yep.
So if you haven't seen Harry Potter, you don't know what a squid is. A squid is basically someone who is born of magical folks who has no magical aptitude or ability. But I will say we all are magical beings in our own way.
We certainly are. Sometimes it takes a little while to find that magic because it's hidden under layers.
Yes. Oh, for sure. Okay, perfect. So As you know, I do a lot of channeling in my spiritual practice, but also my personal practice. So some of this is stuff that I have channeled throughout. Let me see, when did I start this? This particular journal started in 2022. So these are my channelings from galactic beings and the rainbow grid, and what I'm supposed to kind of be working and what I'm doing. So as you can see, we have all sorts of colors that come in as well, for the body and for the body of Earth that I've channeled as well. But essentially, we are in a grand precipice of new energy. And this new energy is coming in so fast. Let's see, the best way to describe this. The energy that we're bringing in now towards the end of 2025 and the first 3 months of 2026 is energy that we were supposed to be grounding in the end of 2027 through 2028 and to 2029. So from a galactic perspective, we are on a fast track. We're going way faster than intended. And so that can mean for us as the vessels here, you're in a roller coaster. So if you've been feeling like purge and release, 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 and then you're just not getting a break, that's probably why. Because our guides and our intergalactic beings, who we are, our soul path, all of this is coming full circle really fast to get us ready for 2026. So there's a lot of things that soul contracts, etc., that we are ending this year that are getting us ready for the energy of 2026. So if there's stuff that's still dropping off and falling away for you, let it go, because this is a very, very good time for us to create a new slate, to start clean. And then literally start with a clean slate and a clean soul. Anything that you want to get rid of, you can get rid of. These are the last few months and the most pivotal time to get rid of it. It's not that something's closing and you're not able to heal after 2026. I'm just merely referring to the quickness and the fastness of this stuff that is going on, because we are multidimensional beings. So essentially what I'm seeing, what's going on within the body right now, is we have more than just our 7 chakra system. We have chakras all over our body. So in the collective right now, we have chakras opening in the hands, in our brain stem, which is right here in the back. So it's where your vertebrae and your nervous system meet your brain. And so we have a new chakra that's opening up back there, that is opening us up into like the way that our nervous system interfaces with our physical body. So our nervous system produces information. And so we have new intergalactic and new light codes and new information coming in. And a lot of this information is coming in and it's speaking to your cells and your soul at a different level than it has before. So it's going to feel different than other purges and other releases, because this is a deep transformation. So it's almost like we're coming up to a full 360. You know, it's like you're turning around really, really fast and you get a little dizzy. That's kind of what's happening within the body right now. A lot of people are having crown pressure or
I was gonna say, it feels like I was walking with a stack of books on my head, like a whole encyclopedia.
Yeah. And so basically what's happening is your higher self and your soul, it's a little heart, but it's cracking open. And then all of this light is pouring in and it's coming down with your soul's light codes. I call them your quantum codes, but it's your codes that are coming in. So if you're having a lot of crown pressure, I ask that you just talk to your guides, talk to your higher self, and ask them that they start to allow this energy to flow through the body a little bit more nicely. You can also play with colors. I love to play with colors. So when I have a lot of intense energy coming in through the crown, I always talk to my guides and I always ask what's going on, and I get spiritual, I call it spiritual discernment. So I figure out, okay, is this something that my body is releasing? Am I being attacked? Or is this, new energy that's coming in that my body's acclimating to? And so I will get, yes or no for anything that's going on. And then if it's an energy upgrade and I'm really feeling it, I'll just go, hey, Steve, hey, Merlin, this is a little too much for me to handle right now. Like, I still have human stuff I have to do. I still got to go to the store. I still got to make dinner for my family. I still have to work.
We got to
Can
do
you
matrix
ease? Yeah. Can you ease this up? And then, about 9 o'clock tonight, I can go to bed early, or I can lay down and receive this energy a little bit better, and it won't be harmful to me. And they're like, oh, yeah, for sure. For sure. And
I got
then
one
they
as I was
change it
sitting
up.
at a red light the other day. All of a sudden, bam, I got it up. I felt it. And I was like, holy shit, my ears were ringing. My crown started to feel weird. I had like this tingling sensation around my crown and around my third eye. And I knew immediately what it was. And I was like, man, this is crazy timing. Like, you just out and you're driving around. Like, wow.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I've had times like that where it's been described to me as like a paradigm shift, because I work a lot with like the sacred timeline. And so a lot of what I do in the astral is I help break down old timelines and bring them together. And so that's just kind of part of what my soul's work is. And so I don't know how to do that consciously, because it's not something I do in my awake state. It's something I do in my sleep state. So I know that I do it. I just don't know how.
You're like a basket weaver of timelines.
Essentially, yeah. Yeah. And if I see, and I see them as like ribbons and colors.
Yep.
And if they start to come out of the sacred timeline too much, and it's too volatile, and there aren't like, if it's not coming from the collective, if it's something that's coming out that they're wanting to draw the collective to, that needs to be shut down. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
And so literally I go out there and I'm like, nah, guys, no. And we bring it back in. And that's what I do when I sleep a lot. And then a lot of else what I do is I go into the deep different parts of the inner and middle earth, and we work with a lot of the old dormant energies that are coming up. And so I work with a lot of the beings inside inner and middle earth to activate stuff, because we're getting ready to activate the rainbow grid, which is fucking phenomenal. I've been waiting many, many lifetimes, but patiently my entire life for this. And I didn't even realize how exciting and giddy I was until like this morning. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it's finally fucking happening. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I've been waiting my entire life.
Yep. Oh, wow. So this just goes to show, like, we are exactly where we're meant to be. Even though there's a bit of wobble on occasion, we still end up where we're supposed to be. And these timeline shifts have been intense, though. And I've noticed when a timeline shift happens now. I'm actually getting so used to them. It's when I wake up feeling like I'm on another planet. Because it's happened. Every time I ask the guys, I'm like, why do I feel this way? They're like, oh, yeah, timeline shift. Or a potential timeline shift. Like, we're in the beginning, like, stages of that shift. Because sometimes it takes a couple days for the energies to settle after a shift.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so Ray said if you wear fake nails, you're blocking your hand finger chakras. Stop doing that. What about nail polish? My personal opinion is, being a divine feminine, for me, painting my nails makes me feel more feminine. I need to fully step into that feminine role. So painting my fingernails does not affect anything that I do. Yes, I'm fully aware there are toxins in there. I detox regularly.
Toxin-free polish.
Yes. However, I do realize that it was made for a specific purpose, but it brings me joy and makes me happy. So the joy I bring to myself by making myself feel more feminine by painting my nails completely blocks out anything else.
Yeah.
And so it's about you and what you feel. If you feel like it's going to block your flow and your feminine energy or your masculine energy, anything like that, then don't wear it.
You know what I mean?
Do what resonates for you. because if nail polish doesn't resonate for you, that's totally fine. No harm, no foul. But I will say painting my nails does not affect my spiritual mastery by any form or mean. I know who I am. I
Kind of
know how
funny to think that
powerful
it
I am.
even would have the possibility to do so in the first place. Like, how would nail polish be able to block your gifts and your powers? Like, this just goes to show, though, that if your body isn't in alignment because you haven't been taking good care of it, if you're low on nutrients, if you're not feeding it well, if you're dehydrated, if you're
Yes.
out of whack, then your body is going to be giving you that problem. That's much more of a factor than something that you could be wearing, for example. You can put a tinfoil hat on your head. It doesn't mean it's going to block everything that you want to have, like.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and like just saying that, like I will be traveling soon. And so one of the things that I've always done, I don't have a hat in here right next to me, but I always spiritually bless my hat. So I'll just use, okay, this is a fake hat. Okay. But essentially what I do is I get this hat and I say, hey hat, I'm about to travel. This is my intention to keep me spiritually and sacredly safe and sound and get from point A to point B and all the travels in between safely. And then I smudge it with that intention. And then after I'm done smudging it, I put the hat on. I'm like, okay, yeah. Okay, this feels right. If it feels right, I keep it on and I let it go. If it doesn't feel right, I will sometimes take it outside and do the same thing again with the intention, but I allow the sun and the sun codes to come in and ask the sun that it protects me as well. And then I put it back. Okay. Oh, that's perfect. Okay, cool. And then it's gone. It's set. That intention is set for the whole trip. So anytime I feel unsafe or dragged down or anything like that during my trip, I put my hat on and I just feel better. And so that's a way that you can, and if you don't like wearing hats, do it with a necklace, do it with a bracelet, do it with your earrings, do it with your favorite shirt or a sweatshirt.
Sunglasses, whatever.
Yeah, whatever you're going to use that you'll keep on you that whole time.
I have noticed that hats do help with that crown pressure thing, that if you're feeling a bit intense, it was Sarah Jane Patton that suggested that. She goes, put a hat on. So now every once in a while when I do feel that pressure, I put a hat on and it goes away.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, okay, that helps. Just damper it. It's like a little damper. Putting it down.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Because again, the energies can be very intense, especially if you're not grounding yourself, though. A lot of people are getting like that feeling lately because they've got all of this energy coming in. It's like, flowing in, but then it's got nowhere to flow out. So make sure that you guys are grounding yourselves. If you feel off, go out and hug a tree. Who cares what people will see you? Just go out and hug the tree. You will feel better afterward, I'm telling you. Hugging trees is one of the best things you can do for grounding and getting rid of all that extra energy. Talk to the trees as well. That was one of the things that the guides are constantly telling us. Talk to the trees.
Yes, I have a favorite tree. Well, I have several trees on my property and I go talk to them regularly, but I have one favorite tree at my office and I always go outside and sit next to it. I'll meditate with the tree. There's a big rock that I call my meditation rock that's right in front of the tree. So I'll sit on the rock sometimes, or I'll sit and lean against the tree, or I'll just sit there and meditate. And I cannot tell you, because we're right next to a bank. So people will drive through to go to see the teller and stuff. And I can't tell you how many times I've had people stop and they're like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yes, I'm perfectly fine." "Well, you're sitting here by a tree." "Yes, I am." "Oh, okay. Well, you're sitting here by a tree with your eyes closed." And yes, my car's right behind me and that's my car and I have water right here and I'm fine. And it just kind of blows their mind that someone will be sitting in nature by a tree, by a bank.
I know. They called Minty a wacko just for doing it the other day. Steve the wacko.
Oh, I've been called some pretty crazy things. Yes.
Just because he was hanging out with the trees. Like, what the hell? Oh, so funny. But I do feel, it's funny. One of the reasons why I called Bradley this morning. So I was getting ready, just kind of doing stuff around my house. And my radio turned itself on. Like you have like a knob that you have to turn the radio on And the radio turned itself on, started talking, and then said bye and turned itself off. And I was like, this is now the third time it's done it in the last week. So I was on the phone with Bradley and I was like, Bradley, do you mind just asking Sam what the fuck that was? He's like, he goes, it's a beastie. And I was like, I knew it. I knew it was a beastie mess with me. I did not get a good feeling when it came on. And I was like, what's going on? Like, why? Why are they messing with my radio? And they're like, well, first of all, they're doing it because they love your reaction. Because you're just like, and then the second reason they did it was because they can't. And I was like, how though? And he's like, well, they're using AI to do it, but at the same time, they're having a lot easier of a time messing with technology because as we move up in frequency, the veil is getting thinner and thinner. And so they can start to manipulate our technology, especially in regards to things like Bluetooth, because there's a signals being sent and they're basically, messing with the signal. So he's like, expect this to be a lot more common and expect to see the muggles freaking the fuck out. Because it's gonna be a much more thing. And I'm like, I'm not even a muggle and I'm freaking out a little bit. Like, stop. Like, stop messing with my radio. But it's funny because that's just, this is going to be part of what we consider to be the new normal.
Yeah. Yeah. And some people, unfortunately, will not be able to handle it. And that's okay. And that's what some of us here, the heavy hitters, I like to call us heavy hitters. That's what we're here for, is because we can come in and help clear that. But we need more people. We do great work, but there's just not enough of us. And so that's why, we're building the school and we're doing all these great pivotal things. But yeah, we have a lot going on in a small amount of time. And so essentially what I have seen that has happened, and this is nothing to fear, this is just for awareness, but essentially because the dark is losing, they basically kind of opens Pandora's box per se. And so they're sending out anything and everything that they can to fuck with you right now. Yep. And so I will say, yes, there is more going on from an astral perspective, and there is a lot more going on. Yeah. And so I will say, just make sure you're doing your spiritual protections, make sure that you're calling in your guides and utilizing everything that you know for yourself. So it's to just stay sovereign and to stay in your peace. And, if you need to curl up in a ball and hang out in the fetal position and cry and release some stuff, then do it. Yeah. Because if that's what you're releasing it. Yeah. Yeah. And like I said, we're in a really heavy release cycle.
Because anything you bottle up right now is going to come back to bite you, because your emotions are a sign. It is a red flag being waved. And if you ignore those emotions, you're ignoring the red flag that you're supposed to be dealing with it. And everything is being come forward right now is being called forward so that we can transmute it and clear it and get the fuck out, because it's no longer serving us. Anything that's no longer serving us has to go. It is spring cleaning time for the Matrix, so to speak. Yes.
Yeah. And we're spring cleaning in fall. So it's just a different time of year. It's a different time for us to be doing this. And so I think with normal, regular Earth cycles, this is not normally a heavy purge and release time in the way that we're purging and releasing.
South Africa and the Aussies, it's springtime.
Yes. I was meaning for, of course, yes, Aussie spring clean, because it's good for us. But I just meant from like the North American perspective where we are, this is not normally a time for this side of Earth to have a big spring cleaning energetically. And we're very much in that cycle today.
Aaron just says it's harvest time. Yeah, Aaron. You reap what you sow time. Yes.
Yeah. And I will say, if you feel like you're getting attacked constantly, change your mindset. If you're thinking something negative, what can you do to turn that to a positive note? What can you do to turn that around? What can you do to stop those thoughts? Tell them to stop and pull them out. Literally go, no, that's not a thought that I have. Go away.
With every clearing that we do, with every beastie we send to source, I have noticed like the guides are getting more like we're ticking the thing more in our favor. It's like the scales get tipped more and more with every clearing we do.
Yeah, and they really are. And then, you add in the historical clearings that we're doing and the grid work that I'm doing, but I know a lot of other grid workers are also doing in their own way. We're raising the vibration of Mother Terra, of Mother Earth really fast. And so it's allowing ourselves that moment to purge and release, and knowing that you'll be okay on the other side of that, not freaking out in the middle of your purge, which is very easy to do. I've done that hundreds of times. So
yeah, because you get overwhelmed a lot.
Yeah, it can be very overwhelming. And so
get the
I
rug
will just
pulled out from underneath you.
Utilize your breath work, utilize your body skills, utilize, getting out into nature, utilize your salt baths, all of these spiritual tips, that seem really easy, that some of us can really push ourselves, oh, I'll just do that later. Those tips really help you when you're in a freak out state. Making your making your exhale twice as long as your inhale. If you're having a panic attack or having heart palpitations, you're in that zone, the fastest way to get out of that is to stimulate your nervous system. The fastest way to do that is to stimulate the vagus nerve by breathing. So if you can take a breath in for 2 seconds and then breathe out for 4, and you can do that for 5 breaths, you tell your body, I'm safe. Nervous system, shut down the amygdala, shut down the fight or flight response. And we're going into the rest and digest stage. Because when you're in your fight or flight, all the blood leaves your brain and it goes down into your body, and you go into oh shit mode. So you're running, you're jumping, you're hiding, or you're fighting. Those are the 4 modes that you got. And a lot of people live in that mode. So when they get out of that mode, they are really tired. And so being in the rest and digest is very important for us right now. So if you can figure out what stage you're in and work your way into the rest and digest stage, things get a lot easier. And I will also say, I have had some clients, and I've had it myself over the past week, and I know it's coming for the collective because I normally feel stuff about a week before the collective does. If you're having heart palpitations right now and having some heart stuff going on, that is actually completely normal. There is a lot. We're going through collectively a very deep heart opening upgrade. So all of our hearts are being opened deeper to unconditional love for all of humanity, but also for ourselves. And sometimes the physical tissues will hurt a little bit as they're being opened. So if you are having some heart palpitations and you're sovereign, take that with a grain of salt, because you could have a literal physical heart opening right now.
Yeah. Yeah,
a lot of people
think it's a red flag, including myself. A lot of times when I get a heart palpitation, I'm like, who's that? Who's there? But you're right. Yes, it has been that recently where the guides were like, you're not under attack. That's just you being sensitive to your heart. It's like a flutter is what it feels like.
Yeah. And it's not like stabbing in the heart, it's not like heartbreak or anything like that. It's kind of like a subtle type feeling. And you can even feel it, because you can feel it in the front of the heart, or you could feel it in the back of the heart. Our chakras are living, and just like as we breathe, our chakras can move. And so, if you're having back pain right around the area where the nervous system connects with the heart, which is about T3 to T4, which is about above the bra line in that area for women, and, mid back for men around the scapula area or the shoulder blades. If you're having pain there, that can be it as well. And I will say and it's not just the heart that's happening right now. That's most of where it's happening. So
You'll
for
feel it in the third eye too. I feel it a lot here. So that could be what you're talking about, Jessica. The third eye activating.
yes, yeah. And so I mean, it's not just the heart. That's what the collective is really having right now. But the third eye and the crown are starting to open and activate and talk with our soul star chakra. So, for those of you who don't know, we have a soul star and an earth star chakra. A lot of people do not have these chakras fully activated because they have not activated what I call your Shishuna column or your light column. And so your earth star chakra is 3 feet below your feet and it resides in the earth. That's a deeper connection with earth or Mother Terra. And about 3 feet above your head, you have your earth star chakra. I'm sorry, your soul star chakra. And this is where we can access deeper, more intricate information about our soul. And and we can allow these soul codes, this soul light from our soul, from our higher self, to come down into us when we're ready and allow us to integrate more of our light so that we can step further onto our path. And so when I work in like my rainbow classes and I work with people one-on-one, that's kind of what we do in my classes is we bring that energy down and I allow you to kind of channel your own higher self, your own soul's light, and move through whatever you're going through by the empowerment of knowing that you're doing the work yourself. Instead of me doing it for you, I'm more about empowering you to be able to do it yourself.
Yes.
One, because I want you to graduate and be able to help others. I don't always want you to have to come back and go, well, Kat, how did you do that? So I can do that for myself. I want you to know how to do this for yourself. And
Teach
so
a
that's
man to fish, as they say.
yes. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Beautifully explained. Thank you for that.
For sure. Of course. Of course.
And I feel that a lot of people are starting to notice, like, recognize phantom pain. Like, my mom will message me and she'll be like, I have pain that there's no reason for it. And I'll be like, really? She goes, yeah, I didn't pull anything. I didn't hurt myself there. Just know I should not be hurting there. And I check and sure there's a level 1, like, you know, on the spot. And it's funny because, like, once you feel sovereignty, once you get used to sovereignty, and start to recognize when something comes into your etheric field, all the bells and whistles start going off. Even if you're not really fully clued up into what it is or what it could be or why you feel what you feel, the alarms start going off.
Yeah.
So people are being very sensitive to energies right now. And even if you don't know what those energies are, it still calls your attention to it. So make sure that you don't gaslight yourselves. Make sure that you're listening to your intuition. If you have phantom pain and you don't know where it's coming from, it could be something else that you are unaware of. And speaking of which, I know I asked this morning if there was any possibility if we could do a clearing today.
Yeah.
Would it be all right? Yeah?
For sure. We
So
can.
who would like a clearing from Steve? Cat's Guide. Anybody that feels that they're not sovereign, feel free to speak up. And she's happy to ask Steve to make sure that everybody who would like to be checked gets checked today. So,
and also I'm hearing some people have questions. If you have any questions about the rainbow grid or any questions about anything at all, ask, please.
Yes. You got your work cut out for you, Steve. Lovely. See, if you don't ask, you don't get. So it's important to speak up.
Yes, please speak up.
Even if you feel that you're sovereign and you would just like a little bit of healing, feel free to ask and just specifically say what area you would like the healing. Ray says, can you please check my sick kitty, Jeannie?
Yes, I have Merlin checking all the animals. So if you have an animal, put them in the chat. I'm going making sure.
Katie's going for surgery tomorrow.
Okay, we got
her. Check you, Katie. Katie, message me after your surgery, honey. I'll do a recheck after you get out of the hospital, okay? Nathalie has a cat named Caramel. Oh, that's so cute.
Oh, that is cute.
Oh, I love that you guys are all mentioning your fur babies and not so furry babies. I see your bearded dragon, Lizzie. I love that you call it Lizzie, by the way. Your bearded
Oh, we used to have a bearded dragon. She passed away
that.
last year, but we called her Lizzie the Beard.
I love that. I
That's
love
what my
dragons.
son named her. Yeah.
Little ones.
She caught some weird type of, or our Lizzie caught some weird type of lizard disease that attacked her kidneys, and she lived about 6 months longer than she was supposed to with it, but she kind of passed away pretty quickly. Unfortunately, she was a very snarky Liz.
Gina says, please check my 11-year-old nephew, Leon. He's been hearing voices telling him to hurt himself. Thank you, Kat. Gina, why is this the first you're mentioning this, honey? You should have messaged me. We don't play around when it comes to kids, baby girl. You know that. We don't fuck around when it comes to kids.
I don't like people messing with children, especially.
Even if, like I say, even if it's an emergency situation and you can't afford it, always message me and speak up, okay? No matter what the situation is, we can at least try to help. We don't let them mess with our babies. Nope.
Okay, go on.
There's a lot of work for you today, Steve. No wonder you got your friend Lord Shiva with you today. Thank you all very much. I can feel we've got a large team with us. It's not just, I can feel the energies right now. My heart's doing this.
No, Steve says we have 76 other Andromedans, so 77 Andromedans and 77 Arcturians with us today.
Wow.
Just to make sure we get everyone.
Anybody feeling anything? Anybody sensing anything? I just got really warm. That's all I'm sensing is that I'm really warm right now. My heart's doing this like excited thing. And she's got chills. Tabitha said my son hurt his ankle yesterday and he could use some healing. I'm sorry to hear that. Zach is helping too. Hi, Adriana.
Thank you, Zach.
Thank you, Zach.
Yes, the Solations are here. I can feel them. Oh, we'd never leave you out, Zach. You're always welcome.
Yes. Lisa says she feels complete peace. Oh, that's beautiful, Lisa.
Jessica, I'll get to your question in just a second. Okay, love? I'm just making sure I get to everyone.
Margaret says, I'm feeling all teary-eyed. Thank you for offering. You're so welcome, Margaret. Is Lord Shiva an Andromedan? Yes, he is.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. If you notice the blue skin, that's kind of the obvious giveaway that they are Andromedan. But we also have Vegan people. Vegans are that's where the ancestors of Indian people come from Vega.
Yes.
So we have
and
Vegans
also,
here as well.
Not less humanoid-like, but the blue avians can also express themselves in a very vibrant blue type color.
Yeah.
Most of them, if you see, they will come to you in a color first. A lot of guides do come in like a flame of color, and a lot of blue avians will come in a similar color as the Andromedans do as well, just so you're aware of that if you have any of those ties.
Alicia says, I am reconnected with my spirit team. Nice one, Alicia. Wonderful. You guys are so welcome. We're very happy to help. Is Kat Andromedan as well? Kat she's something special. She's a little different.
I am not from this galaxy.
No.
I'm going to leave it at that. It's not safe for me to say where I'm from. But part of my path as the Rainbow Grid Keeper is to basically turn on the rainbow grid. So I'm not here to heal in the way that a lot of other people are to heal. I am here to take back what has been taken. So I'm that very much fuck around and find out kind of vibe.
Whenever she snaps her fingers, like, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whenever she snaps, I'm like, ooh, what'd you get?
You know, so that's part of my path. I'm kind of a take no shit type of person. I haven't always been this way. I've had to really have a resolve and a good anchor into what I'm doing and my path, because there is a lot of darkness here, and there's been a lot that we've had to clean up and a lot that we've had to do, and so I will say proudly, I'm the silver rainbow ray, and I'm here to take back the planet.
Yeah.
I'm not the only one who's here to take back the planet, but I am very much here to fuck shit up, because we have been living too sabotaged for too long. We deserve to be divine sovereign beings. Every single human being deserves to have free will and to be sovereign and make your own choices. And that is why I came here. That is why I came to help change the planet. That's why I came
Amen to
to help
that.
Mother Terra, is to make a difference. And the reason why I call her Mother Terra, and so there are many different names for Earth. Certain different indigenous communities call her Pachamama. I prefer to call her Terra. A lot of other people resonate with Earth or with Gaia, and that is totally okay. Terra is the name that was given to me by my home planet and where I came from. That is what we called her when we connected with her. So it was the twin sisters. It was Tiamat, the sacred water planet, and Terra, the sacred clay planet. And they were twin sisters in the Milky Way galaxy. That is how we, in my people, that is how my soul tribe, where I'm originally from, that is what we called them. And so we would travel actually into the Milky Way galaxy in a very special way. And we would come into the galaxy to do different spiritual, basically rituals, to connect our galaxy with the Milky Way galaxy. And that's how I got stuck here. Is I was doing a sacred ritual on Tiamat that really got me stuck here. And so part of being able to go home is to restore Tara back to where she needs to be. And so that's, I've been stuck here just in a different way than everybody else.
Brandy has a good question. Brandy said, was there anything specific that really made you open up your path and understand it fully? Good question, Brandy.
I've been psychically attacked and spiritually attacked my entire life. And so when I started my spiritual awakening journey, I'd probably say it was about 2017 is when I really started actively looking at chakras and learning a lot of information outside of what I'd already learned about the body through all my many years of massage therapy and orthopedic massage and learning about kinesiology, because I really love to know how the body works and how the body works in movement and function and flow. And then so I feel like I just added multidimensionality to that, and started to learn about the body from a multidimensional perspective. Was there anything specific that happened to me, like as in a near-death experience? No, not really. However, I would say the catalyst probably to my awakening is I have always been very, very connected with both of my grandfathers. I always knew that I wasn't from here, and my grandfather on my dad's side is Cherokee Indian. So he taught me a lot of the ways about how to live with the land and how to keep those traditions alive, because he knew that they were dying in our family, and that so there was a lot that he taught me because he knew that I would continue it on. And then on my dad's side, or I'm sorry, on my mom's side, we are Scottish and Irish and German. I'm actually a direct descendant from Germany. So my Heinrich clan came over and created a farm here in West Texas in this area. And so my great grandparents started that. And so I grew up farming and always super close to both of my grandfathers because they grew up and learned how to cultivate and homestead from the land. And so I would say the catalyst for my awakening, the thing that woke me up the fastest and the most, is losing both of my grandfathers 2 weeks apart, and turning 30 in the middle of that. So that was in 2018. But I didn't really know how to cross people over, but I knew that that was a part of my path. I knew that I did that. I would have souls that would come to me and then they would disappear and I would hear, "You've done a good job," but I didn't know what I did. And so I remember having to set up these very specific rituals for my grandfather because he had colon cancer, and this is on my mom's side, and he actually had passed away in April, and they resuscitated him, and he came back and he was mad. And my grandfather was very calm and quiet and a very reserved type of person. And so he went in and basically he wouldn't talk to anybody else but me. When I came into the hotel or into the hospital room, he was like, "I saw Jesus and I want to go home. This is not home. This is hell. I want to go back home. And you are the one that's going to take me there." That's what Jesus said. And I was like, "Oh, okay, Papa, let's do it." I had no idea what I was doing, but I went into a meditative state and I did exactly what my guides told me to do. And I was not at the hospital when he passed a month later, but I'd already said my goodbyes. And literally, I remember I felt like my heart was breaking and I pulled over and started crying. And then I just heard to look up. My grandfather loved the rain. And I literally was about 6 or 7 blocks away from the hospital when I pulled over. And I saw this rainbow light that just looked almost like a cross almost. It just came up out of the hospital and went straight up into the sky. And then a rainbow came over it. And then it started raining. And it was sunny outside. And then so in that moment, I knew that my grandfather had crossed. And that, I feel, was the most wholesome experience about how the rainbow works and how you can be saved, not in a religious sense, but no matter what you've done, the rainbow is always there to encompass you and guide you back home, wherever your home may be. And that's what I got from that moment. And that's how I've continued to live through the rainbow. And understanding it has come forward, full circle each time I learn more about what it's here for, and what it's here to do. And I will say, Jessica, I didn't miss, and I'm still checking in. Steve is still working with a lot of people. He said we're about 75% of the way through the list. That's awesome. And we have many other guides helping us as well. If you are seeing the rainbow, I believe that's what you said, Jessica. The comment's way far up there. But if you're seeing pieces of the rainbow or rainbow frequencies, or even just like rainbow out of the corner of your eye or anything like that, yes, that is a sign that the rainbow grid is turning back on. So from my perspective, when Tiamat and Tara were whole and full, they had etheric grids. So their Taurus field, their natural field that protected them, was rainbow. And so when you would look at them from an outside perspective, if you were looking at the planet, you would literally see 2 balls of light, and they'd be rainbow. One would be darker. That would be Tara, because she's clay. And so she's naturally a darker rainbow vibe. So that's what I would consider kind of like the fall rainbow vibe. And then like the spring rainbow vibe was Tiamat, because she's just light and airy and big. And so that's how you would see them, as just these 2 beaming rainbow balls of light. And so when we would travel in to come to these sacred rituals, you would literally just see these 2 rainbows like this, as you're coming in. And so and it's just magical and purely beautiful.
Thank you for sharing that. Beautiful story, Kat. especially about your grandfather and opening up about that, because many of us can relate to having somebody in our lives that was a pivotal person for our spiritual understanding and our awakening, and just giving us a foundation of love that we can work from, because many of us don't really, I mean, even with our parents, sometimes we don't have that. And when you don't have a strong foundation of love, I mean, it does make this world seem so much darker and heavier. So to have that blessing in your life is huge. And to lose them both within a 2-week period, I'm just giving you the biggest of hugs. I can imagine that was
it was hard. Yeah, it was. Well, and I because that wasn't those two were the only people we lost. It ended up being 7 people that were close to me. I lost my sister-in-law's sister, who is one of my best friends in college, both my grandfathers. We lost Jordan's grandmother. I lost 2 more friends from college, and then Jordan's best friend all passed away in a 13-week span. So 7 people close to my heart in 13 weeks, 7 and 13. Those are both magical numbers within the rainbow as well. And so that really solidified knowing that I was on the right path, not with Jordan for one, because I would have bouts where I would just completely lose myself and he would just come in and hold me. And sometimes that's what you need when you fall apart. And so that's what I got, is I didn't ever have someone who judged me or anything like that. He just loved and accepted me. And then there were days where he would do the same thing. I mean, because, when you lose your best friend from that perspective, it's hard to want to keep going. And because, my best friend also passed away in 2019. He visits me regularly. He's actually here now. But he, like losing like a soul brother or a soul sister, someone that they came here to help and you came here to help them, and you just vibe on a different level. Mm-hmm. It's one of those things that when you lose them from a human perspective, it can be hard for you to, turn around from that and go, okay, it's okay. They're still there. And so like when I lost my best friend Talon, because he was a total soul brother, and like when I lost him, I knew he had passed because I crossed him over in my sleep. But like when one of our mutual friends called and was like, Talon passed away last night. And I was like, you're fucking funny. Like you're playing a joke. Like tell Talon that this is not a funny joke. And she was like, Kat, I'm not joking. And then when it hits you, it's like, oh shit. But then there Talon was in the astral going, Kat, I'm fine. You crossed me over. I'm okay. Like I'm actually happy. I'm not suffering anymore. I'm not any of these things. And so I'm just, again, reiterating, I'm very grateful for Jordan because he helped me get through one of the most pivotal times in my life, and I truly believe that when people look at our relationship, not all, and this is not in a cocky way, I hope that when people look at our relationship, they realize that true love can really exist, because that's what we have. And not all couples have that. But, that's what a 5D relationship should be, in my personal opinion, is someone who loves you for who you are and who you're becoming.
Beautifully said.
Yeah.
Well, every warrior needs a garden, so to speak. You need somewhere that's going to be your beautiful place that will help you decompress and heal and be your safe place. So I'm very glad that you have that, because we need you as a warrior, Kat. We need all the warriors we can get down here, especially at this pivotal moment in human history when we're changing the planet in ways that has never changed before.
Yeah, no, and that's, yeehaw, giddy up. I'm here for this. Mary, yes. Steve is my new Andromedan guide. He works great with Steve. They're like besties. They hold hands and run through the astral together quite often.
You mean with Merlin?
Yes. Oh my gosh, what did I say?
Steve works well with Steve.
Steve works so well with Steve. Steve and Merlin work well together. Yes. Steve and Steve.
Merlin is just very busy a lot too. He's always, what's funny is that he's the most helpful guy when it comes to popping in. Like Kat's not even around. And we'll be like, shit, I wish Merlin was here. And he's like, bing, you rang? Because we'll need him for something. It'll be like a property or some kind of shit. And we're like, man, Merlin would be really great for this. And the next thing you know, he's like, boom, I'm here. What do you need? Like, he's so eager to be helpful. I just love Merlin so much. So I just want to thank Merlin for everything he's been doing as well, because he's working tirelessly. So
yeah, and they all of our guides really are. You know, they don't need to sleep, and so from our perspective, like, if you feel called to do this, do this. I send Steve off to wreak havoc. I'm just like, you know what? You see something, you see someone who's connected to me, someone who I love, someone who's around me regularly, a client, a friend, a homeless person that I passed, anybody that you saw today that I saw from my human eyes that you're able to help. As long as I'm protected while I am sleeping, you can go help them. And he does. And so that's one of the intentions I set, you know, like, yes, protect me, but also, it's one of those things, you know, I'm here to help protect a lot of others as well. And so if I can call in my guides to help you, then I'm going to do that. And so if you feel called to do that, if you know you're sovereign and you're like, you know, that person I saw in the grocery store is really having a shitty time. I don't know who they are, but I would like to help them. Send your guides to them before you go to sleep. You know, like, that's how we help humanity, is not by going, hey, I cleared you and pointing at you in the face. It's going, I know they're really struggling. How can I help them? If it's okay with their higher self, Steve, go clear them. And that's what I like to do. I like to work that way, just because I'm not meant to help everybody, and not everybody's going to come and get on my table or come and, you know, have a session with me, but I can still help. And that's how I feel like I'm helping.
You're helping a lot.
Yes.
And we need all the help we can get down here. Many thanks to all of our team, because like I said, even though you may have one kind of leader of the circus, so to speak, we've got a lot more guides in the background that are working very hard to assist and help right now. And we're getting more guides every day. More people are being trained every day for this work, not just here in the physical, but in the astral as well.
Yes, Sophie, I need a drawing of them holding hands too. Oh my gosh, yes, I would love that. Skipping away together in the astral. That's how I see them. That's actually how they, when I send them off places together, they'll literally join hands and skip off, and then Merlin will have his staff sometimes with him. It's so funny. Shay, I'm not sure if you could have, your guide's name could be Jonathan. You said you keep hearing that name constantly when you ask for guidance. I would say, hey, Jonathan, you know, are you my guide, or are you who I'm supposed to be working with? And if that resonates with you, then that may be the name he's trying to get across, so that you can call him in a little bit faster and easier.
Congratulations, Elaine. Elaine just got her MDSR certification. Very cool.
Oh, congratulations. That's awesome. Amber just said, do you have any insight on why some shade gets thrown on Merlin from some in the spiritual community, same as Metatron?
There's always going to be haters out there for one way or another.
Yes, and I will say also,
there's a lot of beings that like to pretend to be Merlin too, and it's not actually Merlin.
Yes, and that's,
he gets a bad rap from that.
Yes, and this actually makes him quite angry in the astral. But he will not come to you if you just call him in crisis. You have to actively work with him, or want to work with him, or have a strive to work with him. He will come and help if you're calling him in crisis. But if you are actively choosing to want to work with a being like Merlin, you have to have your magic activated. And so you actually have to believe that magic is real, because it is. But if you don't have that conscious thought, Merlin is not going to come to you in the capacity that you're asking him to. And most of the time you will get a false light guide. And that's where a lot of people are like, oh, I've been channeling Merlin for years. And I'm like,
yeah, I'll be like, did you talk to her? You'd be like, no.
Yeah. And then Merlin's like, I've never connected with them before. They have not activated their DNA to the capacity that they could hear me. If I were to come in, I would literally give them a migraine and probably give them a heart attack because his vibration is very, very high. It took me 4 or 5 years of actively working with my magic before I could call him in to work with me pretty regularly. And that's also why he says that he pops in for other people because they cannot handle his energy for long amounts of time. It will mess with your nervous system and your heart. And so he pops in and out. So he does what he does and then pops back out. So he does not harm your physical vessel because his light is so high vibrational. Just like some of these ascended masters and stuff, when they come in, like even when Laura said when Shiva came in earlier, she was like, I heard the huge ringing and then my heart started palpitating. That's normal. The first time I felt Merlin come in and he came close, I literally thought that light was about to blast out of all my cells and I was just going to float away. Like I was like, what is going on here? And I was like violently shaking. And like I couldn't, it was so
because you don't have the intensity anymore. But then we asked the guides, and they're like, your vibration is higher. You're not going to have the intensity anymore.
Yes. And so when he comes,
because your vibration was down here and theirs was up here, and you're trying to do this, to where they match. But if you're naturally up here, it's like boom, synced, and then you don't have that like feeling as you're connected. And a lot of times people start to doubt their connection. They're like, but I felt his energy and it was so intense before and now it's not intense anymore. And it's like, no, your energy is more intense, which is why his energy feels less intense. I hope that helps.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and that is what happened. Cause I would literally, that first time I was like, ooh, what is going on? I felt like my body was going to explode. I mean, literally that's what it felt like. And then after he left, I was like, oh. And he was like, you've received your first activation. And I was like, I don't even know.
Well,
I don't even know what you mean, but yes.
And talking with people in trance, like when Chen and others would come on, I would have to hold on to my face. I'd be like sitting here like, oh yeah, tell me more. Because my lip is doing this. I'm like, oh yeah, great conversation. This is fascinating. Continue, But meanwhile, it's because my lips are doing this. And it was so intense in the beginning, but now it doesn't do it anymore. I'll get like lip twitches every once in a while, and I'll be like, what was that? And they're like, oh, a little upgrade. But yeah, as your vibration goes up, things seem less intense. You're not going to get as big of a reaction.
No, and I will say different energies can bring a different reaction. If you have already in the astral or from a soul level met one of these ascended masters or a guide, like we're just going to call in Goddess Diana because I've worked with her before. So if we're working with Goddess Diana and you call her in and you've never worked with her before, you'll ring the bell. It'll get wrong because that's a new energy. That's not something you've ever witnessed or expressed or felt before. So it's going to feel different and it will vibrate you at a whole new level. Mm-hmm. Whereas if you're meeting with a guide like Merlin, I've met with him multiple times, his energy comes in, and because we have been able to meld and mesh together and co-create with our energies, it just feels like a nice hug. So I've been able to acclimate myself to accepting that energy. So they all come in different ways. And so when I have a new guide or something new that's coming in a new energy, I immediately am like, okay, I greet you, but you need to tell me who you are and why you're here. And if they can't tell me who they are and why they're here immediately, to me, they know that they're not of the light and they need to go. Because a light guide, if they are coming into you and they're expressing, especially when I'm working with clients, I will have their guides that come in or their higher self. They will immediately go, hey, I'm so-and-so's higher self. I'm here to express a message. Can you do that for me? And I would say, yes, I would love to. And then I express that message. But if they're not coming at me from that loving vibrational tone with an open heart and love for my client or for who I'm channeling for, I don't allow them in. Nope. And like even this morning, I was messaging with Laura and she was like, yeah, Shiva's here. And I was like, Steve, why didn't Shiva come to me? And he was like, oh, he was like, we don't let anybody into your frequency unless you're allowing it. And I was like, well, Shiva can come. And Shiva was like, that's nice, Kat. But he was like, I'll come to Laura. And I was like, okay, that's totally fine. And it was just, I think it's just a preference.
He's my broski.
Yeah. And I love Shiva, but
I love him so much.
And so that's just one of those things. He could come to me, but he chose to come to Laura because that was a sign that Laura needed to kind of jumpstart her day.
He perked me up, let me tell you. Whenever Lord Shiva pops in, I'm like, yes. He always perks me up. But it's funny too, because he gives me that dong in the ear. Like it sounds like the craziest ear ringing ever, where my eyes start twitching immediately. I'm like, oh. It's like he comes up to my ear and goes dong right in my ear. I love it though. You can do it anytime you want, Lord Shiva. He's amazing though. And all the deities, all the ascended masters, all of the guides and the galactics we work with, like they're genuinely here to help, and you can feel that, and it gives me such comfort and peace, and I just feel safe knowing they're around, that I can call upon them at any time. And I think that is part of the reason why I have no fear in any of this work. My fear is like gone. Like there's nothing they could do to me that would make me afraid. It'll make me kind of creeped out when my radio starts turning itself on and talking for no reason, but I'm not afraid of my radio. So it's just, it makes you feel more confident in the work when you know you've got a hell of a team to back you up.
Yeah. Oh, I just saw that. We have 111 people watching at 11:11.
That's I know, right?
Aw. And I will say for Metatron too, Metatron, there are different archangels that work for different things. So if you were calling Metatron in to work for certain things and he doesn't work that way, he will not come, but he will send another angel. And so sometimes I will say, because Metatron very specifically works with the grid.
There's certain guides that if you don't know who you're like, it's kind of like, if you don't know who this person is or why you would contact them in the first place, it's like, why are you bothering them in a way? Because sometimes you'll call in deities and you don't even know what that person expects, what they want. You don't know who you're dealing with. So you really have to be careful at times of who you name drop and what intention and who you're trying to summon. Because, I mean, it's all real, all of it, 100%. There may be misconceptions and misinformation out there, but pretty much every being you've ever heard of somewhere is real. And you have to be kind of mindful about who you name drop and what your intentions are when you mention their name.
Yeah. It's kind of akin to the boy who cried wolf. If you're just calling somebody in to call them in for shits and giggles, and you call them in hundreds of times just for shits and giggles, when you need them, they're not going to come because you've been calling them in incessantly for no reason at all. So, and that's the story.
They put you on block. They block your number.
Yeah, and that's no harm, no foul. It's just, hey, I'm choosing not to work with you because you are not working with me at the capacity that I deserve to be worked with. I mean, we have to show love and compassion to these ascended masters and higher beings, just as we show love and compassion to ourselves and other humans. And an open heart and a clear mind and the intention that you're connecting with your guides is one of the fastest, easiest ways that you connect with them. And being open to accepting the information that comes through. Because sometimes when we connect with our guides, we want to connect and we want to get a very specific answer, and your guides don't always give you the answer you're wanting. And that can be sometimes where you are connecting with one of your guides or your higher self, and you're kind of messing up. You're not doing your spiritual work. You're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. And then you ask for this big thing. Like, hey, I haven't been doing my spiritual work, but I want to learn light language. They're not going to give that to you because you're not ready for it. You have to be ready for what you're asking for at the same time. And so that's another thing is, these gifts that we have latent in our DNA and our soul's abilities, they're very much here. We have to be ready to accept those gifts and how they come in and how they come online. And then I know
With Mary's comment, she goes, "Imagine being an astral spammer on the blacklist." Hilarious, Mary. Lynn had a question. She wants to know what Merlin looks like. I missed your.
yes, that's what I was. That's when I was actually coming up to. Merlin to me, he looks like Gandalf. When Gandalf goes from the gray wizard to the white wizard, Gandalf the white. That's what Merlin looks like to me. That's how he's always presented himself.
A bit more dapper.
Yes. Yes. His beard's a little longer and his hair is not as crazy. But he very much has the same like twinkle in his eye, I would say. And he has the same build and mannerisms as Gandalf. That's the easiest one. And he says he has the charm. Yes, you do, Merlin. Thank you. He said he has the charm of the Merlin from The Sword in the Stone.
I was
that
just
old
thinking of
Disney
that Merlin.
movie.
That's my favorite Merlin out of all
the old Disney movie. Yes. The Sword in the Stone. Yes. That's he. I let him watch, or I let him. He was like, "Kat, can we watch that movie? I want to, I want to see some of the lore, that I've had." So I've watched a lot of Merlin type stuff, and he's always like, "Oh, that's not real," or "Oh, that's not right." And so we watched Lord of the Rings together, and he's like, "I like this wizard. This is me." And he was like, "But not quite." And then he was like, "Because that's not." He was like, "I'm not serious like that all the time. Yes, there's a time to be serious, but most of the time I like to be light and fun and airy. That's the magic of being Merlin." And so I was like, "Okay, And then when we saw that movie, he was like, "That's me. That's me." He was like, "I don't lose my temper like that." He goes, "But I probably could have many, many years ago." He was like, "But when he likes to joke if I'm ever like in my woes or going through an emotional release or anything like that, he will literally go, 'Blow me to Bermuda,' and then he disappears, and I crack up every single time because he knows
my favorite lines in that movie. Whenever I'm pissed off, I yell that.
Yeah, and so he knows that makes me laugh every single time, and so he knows. Your guides know, and when you make that sacred connection with them, they will work with you.
Oh, I got chills all over. And then somebody just tickled my forehead like that. Who did that? I've been talking to Merlin since I was a little kid. In fact, I've been working on a book. It's a long story about this book, but I've been working on it. I told Kat about it. But since 2011, I started writing this book. And Merlin is one of the main characters in it. And it's just funny how we're drawn to certain people and certain, stories. And then the next thing you know, you're kind of in the story yourself.
Yeah. No. And I love the magic of what Merlin brings forward for everyone. Yeah. For everyone. Yeah. We all have magic that lives within inside of us. And it's what are you doing to create your magic?
Beautifully said. So Kat is coming to France with us. So excited about it. Can't wait. Kat's going to be coming, I think on the 4th, you said? Yeah?
Yes.
Awesome. So we'll be able to share some adventures and do some clearings and help some dragons. In fact, yesterday we were clearing. Somebody booked a clearing for a castle. You know who you were. So I sit down with Carolyn to do clearings yesterday. I'm like, "Oh, we have a property clearing." So we go and look at it, and I'm like, oh, this is a castle. Okay. And I look into it. I type in the address. Yup, big castle. It was the same castle that they filmed The Secret Garden in like 1993 or whatever. So I don't want to, say too much about the castle. But we were asking, like, is there anything unique and interesting about this castle? And they were like, "Oh, yeah, it could be the dragon that's chained up underneath it." And I was like, "What? There's a dragon under the castle?" And we're like, "Yeah." That's what we called it Merlin. We're like, "Merlin." Like, is this one of your friends? And we were asking, like, how the dragon got stuck under the castle. And they're like, it was there before the castle even was. It's been there a very long time. And I was like, holy shit. Like, this is crazy. We got a lot of beasties out of that castle, too. There was a lot going on in there. But it just goes to show you never know what you might find when you're looking under castles, especially in places like France and Great Britain.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you never know what you're going to find.
Yeah.
Never.
I have a feeling that won't be the last dragon we help anytime soon. There's probably going to be quite a few more out there waiting for us to pop up and be like, hey, da, 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 we're here to the rescue.
Yeah, no, I mean, I literally did the same thing. So when I was in Pueblo last year, I co-hosted a little day retreat with another soul sister of mine. And right after our second day, I was guided to go to this specific castle in Colorado. It was about an hour away. So we drove. I got there right before this, like an hour before the place closed and the sunset and all these things. And that's how I got Felix, my dragon guide, because I worked with the energy and I was able to untrap him. And so a lot of what is going on with the dragons is when Tiamat was blown up, part of the sabotage of the grid was the dragons became gridlocked. And so they lost their ability to move freely about the ethers of Earth. And so they have literally been chained in specific areas on Earth. And so when we do this work that Laura and I know many others are doing, but when we do this work, it's very pivotal because we are saving dormant races of beings that live in the etheric that used to be free flying here on Earth, but no longer have had that ability taken from them. So we're restoring power not only back to ourselves when we do this, we're restoring power back to many, many beings and places and things that it's like restoring natural order. That's what I keep hearing is we're restoring the natural order of how things should flow on Earth. And they haven't flown like this for a really long time. And so there's going to be some discord in between all of that.
Yes.
And so that's really what I've been seeing.
Melanie says, are you coming to Southwest France? That's exactly where we're going, baby girl. Come hang out with us.
Yeah, love to meet you.
We'll be around Rennes-le-Chateau area. And yeah, there's going to be all kinds of changes, I feel, as we kind of move up in frequency. So what an exciting time to be here and also to be on the front lines. Never a dull moment.
Gosh, yes. Oh, okay. So Leanne just asked about connecting with Mother Terra and Mother Earth a little more. And I just wanted to share my little Gaia statue or my Terra statue beautiful. That I have. I'd recommend that if you have the feeling or the call in your heart to connect deeper with her, that you set that intention, and you can use a stone or anything that you want, but you just go sit on the earth, go sit next to your favorite tree, go sit in a place. Seated is going to be pivotal for you so that you can receive those messages, but you want to sit with your spine erect. If you have a crystal or something that calls to you, you hold it next to your heart. I always do my dominant hand and then my non-dominant hand over it. And I just sit here and breathe. I allow my roots to start to flow out through my legs, through my feet, through my root chakra down into the earth. And I flow that down into my earth star chakra, which again is that chakra that's about 3 feet below your feet in the earth. So when you're sitting there, it's about 3 feet below where you're sitting in the earth. You're going to send your energy and your unconditional love from your heart down into that chakra until it feels full. Then you send that unconditional love and that fullness all the way down into the center of Mother Terra, to the center of Gaia. And you ask that a sacred cord of remembrance and unconditional love is created between the two of you. Take as much time as you need here to create that cord. Once you know that's complete, I always like to pull on my cords just to make sure that they're firm and solid. And then I send my love and my energy all the way back up that cord into the Earth Star chakra. And then I bring my energy back up into myself. Once that energy has been solidified, anytime you connect with her, that energetic signature is there. So once you create that signature, it's always there. It never goes away. Sometimes you just need to fine tune it or clean it out. Just like we have to clean out, if you have a drinking straw, you don't just drink out of it all the time, never cleaning it out, right? No, there will be times where you need to clean the straw out because that's kind of gross to never clean it, right? It's the same thing with our energetic pathways. We can create a pathway, but sometimes it needs to be cleaned out. It's not always just going to be, and especially if you don't use it for a long time, sometimes you got to clean it out. And so that's where intentionally sending your energy to these places, feeling it build, and then recalling it back to you is very powerful and pivotal. But once you make that connection, you just sit there in sacred silence. I always like to have a journal out, or like my phone, and I will record. I'll either speak and record what I'm speaking, channeling wise, or I'll write it down. And then I get the messages that I need from her, from Mother Terra. And then I always just say, okay, thank you so much for these messages today. I will do that. And then do what she asks. And that's how you create that connection with her deeper. And that's how you can work with her and start to work with the grid in your own way.
Beautifully explained. Thank you for that, Kat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Lovely. Anybody have any more questions for Miss Kat today? I just want to say thank you again for everything today. Thank you, Kat, for the healing. Thank you to your guides for the clearing and for all this beautiful insight. And it's just, I'm so excited about what we're going to manifest together. I can't wait to see how far we're going to take this. I can imagine we're going to go the whole distance with this work.
Yes. Oh, Jessica, actually, that's a good question. Okay, so Jessica asked, our Earth actual weather pattern is trying to crack open and bring the flow back. Yes and no. So part of the gridlock was the inability for Mother Terra to use her weather to get rid of, to like shake off bad energy. The best way to describe it is a dog. When a dog gets wet and they go and shake off their energy, when Mother Terra makes those rumbles, when she has her earthquakes and her big storms and her volcanoes and all of this stuff, that's how she pushes out that dormant or that stagnant energy, all that crap. And so you can imagine for 12,500 years, give or take a few, she's just been building and building, and shit's just been compiling. And so there's going to be a little bit of a volatility there here soon where not some people, but where the collective and us, when we wake her up, she's going to go, poof. And there's going to be a few months there where there are going to be a lot of more pivotal storms, and they will not be able to be controlled by the weather controlled things. And so there will be a ramp up of these violent storms and violent energies. And that's really just Mother Terra taking back her energy, taking back her light, taking back the tunnels that have been taking back the grid that has been gridlocked. And this is not only for this planet, this is for the entire Milky Way galaxy, because in Mother Terra being gridlocked, all the other planets in the Milky Way galaxy have been gridlocked in a sense. And so by us doing the work that we're doing here, boots on the ground, we are healing the entire Milky Way galaxy. So don't ever think that what you're doing here is not important. You are needed here, and what you're doing here is very important.
Beautifully said. Thank you, Kat.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I've got to run. I've got some stuff I have to do before I PC chase with Carolyn. Thank you so much for the chat today, Kat. Always a pleasure hanging out with you. And,
yes.
Kat and I will be doing a gridding class. We're kind of in the works on that. So we'll discuss more of that when we get back from France. I know some of you are very excited about the gridding class that Kat and I are going to do together. So are we. We just have a lot on our plate right now. So we're getting more organized and prepping for that as well.
Yes.
Today at 1, I just want to mention that there will be a Siddhartha chat. So make sure that you guys check out Angelica Blackmoon's page if you guys are interested in attending. I will be there. So I look forward to seeing you guys at 1 p.m. Eastern for for the Siddhartha conversation. I heard today is Lord Ganesha Day. Somebody mentioned that earlier. So I just wanted to say hello to Lord Ganesha and thank him as well for all the beautiful things that he's been doing here. And maybe we'll hear from him today during the Siddhartha chat. We will be back on the 11th of September from France. So it will be a 2-week event, but we will do pop-up podcasts. So make sure that you subscribe to the YouTube channel. You get much better notifications when we go live. So we will be doing podcasts over the next 2 weeks. We just don't know what time or when. So we'll be doing pop-up surprise podcasts. And you guys will be able to hang out with Kat and Erin and myself and some of the other ladies who will be on the retreat. I think there's 9 of us in total. So that's going to be so much fun. I can't wait.
So excited.
I have one more podcast. I will come and hang out with you guys tomorrow morning. I leave tomorrow night. So I will see you guys on the solo podcast tomorrow if you're not going to the Siddhartha event today. Mwah! Love you guys.
Bye, guys.
See you guys soon.
See you soon.
Bye, everyone.